Hey, hello, welcome back. So, in this video, what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead with the next topic of ESI, that is Indian industries. So far we have covered about 6 topics of ESI, and this is the seventh topic that we are covering, that is Indian industries. So, without any delay, let us get into it. We are going to have a brief overview of this topic. Let's go. Introduction. Industry refers to an organized production of goods and services using the raw material. Use of raw material. Okay. India industrial sector plays a pivotal role. Okay. Post independence, the Indian industrial landscape has undergone major transformations. The country moved from a heavily regulated license Raj system to a liberalized and open economy after 1991 reforms. Okay. Over time, India has emerged as one of the fastest growing industrial economies, supported by its structural reforms, digitization, improved infrastructure, and an expanding domestic market. We all know the LPG reforms and the aftermath of it. Today, industries in India are seen as catalysts for achieving national objectives such as self-reliance, employment generation, regional development. Okay, India aims to become a $5 trillion economy. The industrial sector will remain at the center of this. Okay, the evolution of industrial policies before 1991. Okay, this is not important actually before 1991, but then too we'll just have a gist of it now. Industries with exclusive central government's monopoly, mixed sector. Just give me a second. Controlled private sector, government controlled these directly. Industries under private sector, industries not included. Okay. Industrial Policy Resolution 1956, PC Mahalanobis, heavy industries, and we had seen these criteria, these schedules, right? Strictly under central government, open to private and public sectors, open to private sector but with subject to licensing and regulation. Then eventually we had triple B model, then small. Okay, and this becomes the most important. New industrial policy 1991, announced in 1991, marked a turning point in India's industrial and economic history. It aimed to dismantle excessive government schools, revive industrial growth, and integrate India with the global economy. And this is called as LPG reforms. Key features: reduction in government's monopoly and industries to act. So these sectors were reduced by decreasing the number of industries reserved for the public sector from 17 to 8 industries. These industries were reserved for exclusively for the central government and not any private party. So these are arms and ammunition, atomic energy, coal, mineral oil, mining of iron ore, copper, atomic minerals, and railways transport. Okay, currently only 2 sectors are reserved for public sector. Now the current condition, that is atomic energy and railway operations. And now most important thing is, now because of the Shanti Act, that was the Nuclear Amendment Act that was brought up. Due to this, now there is private sector entry into the atomic sector as well. So only, I guess, railway operations are the only sector where majority of the stuff is looking after the public sector. So we have abolition of industrial licensing, drugs and pharmaceuticals, hazardous chemicals, cigarettes. Okay, promotion of FDI, yes. Provision of NRI. NRI were allowed 100% equity investment. Internal agreement on foreign technologies. Various international agreements were made about foreign technologies. Okay. Reconstructing of portfolio public sector investment. Amendments to MRTP Act, which was to remove requirements prior central government establishment, expansion of undertaking. Okay, changes in the standard for small units, establishment of National Renewal Fund, safety net for labor, Okay. National Manufacturing Policy to 2011. Okay. I think this is increase manufacturing share of GDP to 25%. Key features: national investment and manufacturing zones, large integrated industrial townships, simplification of business regulations, industrial infrastructure and development, skill development. Okay. Criteria, classification of industries. Okay. Sources of raw materials: agro-based, mineral-based. Ownership: public sector, private sector, joint sector, cooperative sector. Function: basic industry, consumer goods industry. Size of industry: large scale, small scale, rural. Okay. Measuring the performance of industries. Index. Now this is important. Index of industrial production is an indicator that measures the changes in the volume of production of industrial products during a given period. It is compiled and published monthly by National Statistic Office under Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Broad sectors. Okay. The current base year for this is 22-23, and weights attached to subsector. Mining sector has 14% weightage, manufacturing has 77.6, electricity has 8%. Okay. 8 index of 8 core industries. Okay. This index measures the performance of 8 core industries which comprise 40% of the weight of IIP, that is Index of Industrial Production. The index was initially 8 core industry weightage: refinery product 28, electricity 19, steel 17, coal 10, crude oil 9%, natural gas 6%, cement 5%, fertilizer 2%. Published by Office of Economic Advisor, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay. Then we have Annual Survey of Industries, published by National Statistical Office. All the factories registered under the Factories Act, units with 100 or more employees. Okay. Purchasing Managers Index is an economic indicator that measures the business activity of the manufacturing and service sectors. Okay. PMI is compiled and published by S&P Global. Parameters: score range. Okay. Special economic zones in India. This is important. Special economic zones, that is SEZ, is designated duty-free area that functions as a foreign territory for trade and business activities. It is a foreign territory. Designated duty-free area that functions as a foreign territory. The word foreign territory is important. Asia's first export promotion zone was established in Kandla, 1965, with a view to overcome the shortcomings experienced on account of the multiplicity of control. Government came up with SEZ. Okay. To insist confidence in investors, government SEZ Act 2005. Generation of additional economic activity, promotion of exports, promotion of investment, employment and infrastructure. Okay. Government of India set up a committee led by Baba Kalyani to review and redesign SEZ policy. Incentives and facilities. The incentives: duty-free import or domestic procurement of goods, 100% income tax exemption on export income for SEZ units under Section 10AA of Income Tax Act for the first 5 years. For the first 5 years is also important. No? Exemption from minimum alternative tax under Section 115JB of the Income Tax Act. Exemption from industrial corridors is a large-scale infrastructure network designed to connect major industrial areas with ports, logistic hubs and transport systems. The voice is clear, right? Okay. To promote industrial growth, these corridors integrate industrial production, transportation and urban development, creating an ecosystem that supports Make in India. Okay. National Industrial Corridor Development Program, Delhi, Mumbai, Industrial Corridor was launched in 2007. Okay, fine. Later in 2020 was renamed to this. Today NICDC entrusted to spearhead development. Okay, presently a part of national from 11 was taken up for development. Okay, MSME in India. MSME is the backbone of India's economy. Yes. MSME classification. Revised classification. The government of India removed the distinction between manufacturing and service sectors and introduced a composite criterion based on both investment and turnover to classify MSME. Okay, let us see. Current classification: micro enterprises investment up to 2.5 crore, small enterprises 25, and medium enterprises 125 crore. Okay, turnover limit is 10 crore, 100 crore, 500 crore. Okay, so this is the new classification, I guess, effective on 1st of April. Okay, I think this is something that we should keep in our minds and remember the fact if possible. Importance of MSME sector in India. Major contribution to GDP. Yes, contributes around how much? 30% to India's GDP. This is also something that we can remember and quote it in our phase 2 examination answers. Large employment generator, backbone of manufacturing sector, key driver of exports, supports inclusive and balanced growth. Challenges in MSME sector: still limited access, inadequate infrastructure, skilled labor shortages, market access constraints are there, impact of climate change. Okay, you can give examples like there is bureaucratic red tapeism, there is corruption, there are delays in fund allotment, and many bureaucratic hurdles are also there. Okay, government initiatives for MSME sector: Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Startup India, then PM Vishwakarma, PM Employment Generation, Credit Guarantee Scheme. Okay, the above mentioned scheme. Okay, new labor codes. The 29 labor laws were compressed or compiled into 4: the Code on Wages Act, Industrial Relations Code, Code on Social Security, and Occupational Safety. Reasons behind reform: simple. Code on Wages Act 2019. Let us see this. It seeks to simplify and rationalize the provisions of 4 existing laws: the Payment of Wages Act, the Minimum Wages, Payment of Bonus, Equal Remuneration Act. This aims to strengthen workers' rights while promoting simplicity. Okay, key features. Let us see key features. Universal minimum wages. Earlier, the minimum wages were applied to 30% of the worker. Establish a statutory right to minimum wages for all employees across both organized and unorganized sector as well. Introduction of floor wage. No state can fix a floor wage. Okay. Criteria for wage fixation. Okay. Gender equality and employment. Overtime compensation was also there. Inspection cum facilitator is there. Decriminalization of offenses. Okay. The Industrial Relations Code 2020. Fixed term employment. Reskilling fund. Trade union recognition. Unions with 51% of membership got recognition as the negotiating union. Otherwise, a negotiating council is formed from unions. The negotiating council should not have at least 20% of the membership of the trade union. Okay. Expanded worker definition. Covers sales, promotion, staff. Okay. Earning up to 18,000 per month. Broader definition of industry. Higher threshold for layoffs, retrenchment and closure. Approval limit raised from 100 to 300. States may enhance the limit further. Women's representation, yes. Then standing orders threshold raised from 100 to 300. Work from home provision. Industrial tribunals are established. Direct tribunal access within 90 days of a dispute. Notice for strikes and lockouts mandatory. 14 days prior notice must be given by the workers to the concerned authority that we are striking. Otherwise that strike stands nil. Expanded definition of strike. Decriminalization and compounding. Digital process. Okay. Code on Social Security 2020. So these are the acts that are brought under the purview of Code on Social Security 2020. The code extends social security to all workers. Key highlights: expanded ESIC. This is important. ESIC applies pan-India, eliminating the criteria of notified areas. Establishments with fewer than 10 employees may voluntarily opt. Okay, this is not important. Time-bound EPF inquiries, reduced EPF appeal deposits, self-assessment for construction cess, inclusion of gig workers and platform workers. Social Security Fund, expanded definition of dependents, uniform definition of wages, commuting accidents covered. Commuting accidents covered. Okay, gratuity for fixed term employees. Gratuity is something that it is given as a token amount or for thanking the person for his continued service towards a company or an industry. Inspector cum facilitator system. Okay, decriminalization, monetary fines, compounding of offences, digitization of compliance, vacancy reporting. Okay, then we have occupational safety and working conditions 2020. The code has been drafted. Okay, key highlights: unified registration, extinction to hazardous work, simplified compliance, wider definition of migrant workers. Okay, health and formalization via appointment letters, women employment, expanded media worker definition like working journalist and cine workers, national database for unorganized workers as well. Victim compensation, courts can direct 50% of the fines imposed to the victim. Contract labor reform, safety committee, establishment of with a company where there are more than 500 or 500 workers, a safety committee is mandatory. National Occupational Safety and Health Advisory Board, decriminalization and compounding offices, revised factory thresholds, applicability increased from 10 to 20 workers and 20 to 40 without power. Social Security Fund, contract labor, working hours, and inspector cum facilitator system. Okay, so let me just highlight this one point. These laws that we are seeing, industrial laws like labor code, then we have the Code on Wages Act, then we have Industrial Relations Act, Industrial Relations Code, Occupational Safety, and Code on Social Security. So I don't think so we need to get into those intricate details about how much is the fine for each offense, etc., what is the time period of the tribunal, etc. So we just need to remember these broad labor codes for our better understanding. So that's the reason I did not go into the intricate details like everything, like 18,000, then 20% membership must be of the trade union. So this is the reason why I'm not going into the details, because NABARD, for the NABARD examination, as I have analyzed the PYQs, I feel that this is sufficient. Just having a brief reading of these topics is enough for the examination. I feel the important things that we must remember are facts and figures like this, like micro enterprises, small enterprises, medium enterprises, etc. Besides this, I think we are done for this topic, and thank you and stay tuned for the next video.